Hey everyone, what's up? It's Spencer and today I'm going to talk about veganism. I've been vegan for over a year now and I want to talk about the benefits I felt from doing so, the bullshit benefits of doing so, the things that don't even exist of going vegan. Also want to talk about how I went vegan, the reasons I went vegan, the foods I ate, also how it can restrict your life, how it can enrich your life. So I want to give you the goods, the bads, positive, negatives of going vegan, and I want to do this as truthful as possible. My aim of this video isn't to turn anyone to being vegan. It's not to turn anyone away from being vegan. It's just to tell you my experience. If that encourages you to go vegan or not go vegan, then it's your life. So the main reason I went vegan to begin with was because when I was traveling around Australia, Japan, New Zealand, all I was eating was junk food and takeaways. I had a fantastic time, but I felt like shit. I felt horrendous. It near on depressed me, and the fact that I was just eating all this crap food, I just thought bleh. So from there I did go to eating clean. I've always eaten clean as a rule. I've always eaten healthy. Even when I was eating meat and dairy, I've always eaten clean. But this time we're traveling, we just ate a lot of takeaways. Fast food, it's not good. So I've done a lot of research into veganism, how it can reduce inflammation, make you mentally more aware, more of a positive person, clearer skin, greater hair. Don't know if it's done that for my hair so far. But there's a whole array of benefits for it. And the main reasons I did do it was for personal benefits. It wasn't, to begin with, it wasn't for animals or environment. I'm not going to lie, that didn't really cross my mind when doing this. It was mainly for personal benefits. So as a whole, I'm very interested in preserving my life of health benefit. I love reading articles on ways to get healthier, get stronger, get more fit. I love that. I love being able to nourish my body with what it desires. Even though I did have a period of junk food, normally I like to eat good. So I have to admit, I didn't find the transition difficult. As I said before, I was already eating clean. So like brown rice, chicken, chickpeas and all that stuff. I originally tried to cut out dairy anyway because I've read how dairy could make you more mucousy. It's not good for asthmatics. I have asthma. Bit onto that later. So yeah, I was already eating clean anyway. So really all I had to do was remove the meat. And yeah, it really wasn't that hard. And I admit at first it did seem boring just eating vegetables and rice and stuff like that and chickpeas and beans. But after a few weeks your body seems to adjust and the flavour of them vegetables does seem to get better. So my diet mainly consists of oats, rice, pasta, beans, chickpeas, nuts and seeds and fruits and vegetables. Yeah, and like I said, I tried to eat clean. You can be an unhealthy vegan, like Oreos are vegan, dark chocolate is vegan. You know, dark chocolate's not inherently bad for you, but you know, there's a lot of processed vegan food you can get to. So if you're in this for animal rights but you don't like eating clean, then there is still ways of eating vegan but not clean. So one of the benefits I found was that I had to start incorporating spices, learn how to cook better. Before I just relied on sauce. I was just getting tomato ketchup and stuff, using barbecue sauce and all that on all my meals, but I wanted to make it more flavoursome, so I had to learn to become a better cook, more creative, more knowledgeable. So the number one main benefit I'm going to quickly say is inflammation. Did I receive less inflamed joints? Yeah. As a rule, I have noticed that how I used to feel compared to how I feel now. I'm definitely not as sore after workouts. I still get sore. That's the thing. Don't think the recovery is accelerated by like 10 times. It would be like 10 to 20% better recovery right now. So generally a quick overview of my workouts is 2 times a day, 6 days a week. So, and it's like an hour each session. It's kind of intense. And as you can imagine, I did experience inflammation from that. But with veganism, I didn't receive it as much. So another benefit I found is that I'm actually asthmatic. If you know what that is, pretty much just say if you go for a run, it starts to get really hard to breathe. Your lungs feel like they're tightening. Feels like you're trying to breathe through a straw after you've run a marathon. It's not a nice experience. So concerning my asthma, I like to run a lot. It's one of my passions. I love running. Before my runs, I used to always take my inhalers. But with veganism, I wanted to see, some people said this cured asthma for them. So I took the risk. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take my inhalers before my runs now. See how we go. And at first I felt it, okay? I felt the asthma. It felt quite bad. But after a while, it did feel like it when I was able to run and do my hill sprints fine. I didn't experience any side effects. I didn't feel asthma, anything. I didn't feel any symptoms of it. But saying that, that was in the months of summer. We're now entering winter or autumn, wherever the hell we're in. England's very weird with its weather. And I have noticed symptoms start to return. So that could have been a weather thing, but it's not as bad as it used to be. That could have been a case of my body just strengthening itself without the inhalers. Maybe it just adapted. But my asthma isn't completely gone. And I haven't had dairy or meat or anything. But it is better. So it's a start. In terms of hair and skin, I can't say I've really noticed much. I admit when I had dairy, I had eczema worse, which is kind of like pretty much like sore skin. That was worse when I had dairy. It's not completely gone, but it's better. Now mentally, do I feel any better? I don't know. No, I wouldn't say I feel... I'm not saying I feel worse or I feel bad in that. I just don't feel much different. I think mental state... If you're eating clean anyway, I think your body's going to feel good. I think your mental state is going to be good. I don't think it's wholly reliant on the diet itself of if you're vegan, if you're not. And one other little benefits I'll touch up upon is I'm rarely ever sick now. So I don't even want to jinx myself here, but in the past year, I've been ill once. And for me, that's good. I used to get like flu 4 times a year now, but it's not happening now. Once again, that could be a thing of getting older. Maybe in my mind, I just feel like I can't get sick now because I'm eating vegan. But hey, who knows? I think it works. Now let's move on to the negative sides of veganism. Not bad. Just a matter of perspective if you see it as a bad thing. So one, really quickly, it can be harder to work out your macros if you're someone who's regimental. If you're someone who's extremely regimental on your macros, this can be harder since there's no... pretty much complete sources of protein. As you know, like pea protein, for example, doesn't contain all the essential amino acids. Well, it may contain them, but not all in the right proportion, such as whey protein does. And also, there's not things like chicken breast that you can have that is just pure protein and a bit of fat. It doesn't really happen with vegan foods. They tend to combine carbohydrates, fats and proteins all together. So if you're someone who needs to specifically work out macros, it can be more difficult. But in terms of staying lean, it hasn't been hard for me at all. I pretty much just eat a clean diet. If you're eating clean anyway, you're going to remain lean. There's just pretty much no other way unless you're eating excessive amounts. If you eat excessive amounts of brown rice, which is vegan, you will start to gain weight. So it is what it is. Another thing is, sometimes, so pretty much you're eating a large quantity of vegetables and grains and stuff, and they can be quite filling at the time. Because it's such a large volume of food, it does kind of bloat you out and you feel like you're full at the time. So then I've stopped eating. Then an hour later, I'm hungry. It's like I'm not fully satisfied, but I don't... Because I still like to do fasting. So like intermittent fasting. So I don't like to eat past dinner. But it could be like I have my dinner at 7. And then by 8 o'clock, I'm hungry. And it's like, no, I don't want to eat now. So it can be kind of annoying in that respect. Before, when I used to have like eggs and chickpeas with vegetable stir fry, I used to feel a lot more fuller, more sustained for longer. As opposed to now when I just have a vegetable stir fry with chickpeas and like brown rice. I feel full at the time, but then give it a bit, I'm hungry again. Another point is, and people don't really seem to talk about it as much because they act like it's not, but for me, it can be quite socially restricting. If you're going out with friends to a meal or your family, you're going to a restaurant and stuff, not all restaurants do a vegan option. Many of them do, but it's normally like one option. Sometimes you think, I don't want to eat that. It's like the blandest thing you could ever think of. Their version of veganism is like just a carrot on a plate. And especially if you go out shopping or something and you get hungry in a mall or whatever what do you call them? Shopping centres, whatever you call them, the big places. It can be harder to find food. There's not as much options, but more places are incorporating different vegan foods. Supermarkets are now doing vegan range and stuff like that. But then again, that is processed food, which isn't really that good for you. So it depends your reason for eating vegan. Are you doing it for animal rights, or are you doing it for health, or are you doing it for both? Now I must admit, so I was vegan since previous September, so it's been over a year now. And recently I went out for a friend's birthday, Turkish restaurant. They had one vegan option of what was it? It was just an aubergine with some peppers, and I really don't like aubergines. So, I had lamb with halloumi cheese and pita bread. And I must say, it was delicious. And I know some people may say now, oh, you're not a vegan and stuff. Never truly claimed I was, as more plant-based. And I do get the whole animal rights thing, which I'm going to get onto after this point. But the point I'm making here is, yes, okay, I ate lamb, which is an animal, and I had dairy as well. But the point I want to make is, the next day, I felt no different. I didn't feel sluggish or bad or like, oh, the negative effects have come back, I've broke everything of veganism, it's all over. No, I felt pretty good actually. My skin also during that time looked more tan. In England at the moment was so cloudy, there's no sun, so people was thinking I was fake tanning, which got me to think, if my skin looks more radiant just after this one meal, maybe I'm lacking in some nutrients I'm not getting from a vegan diet. I'm not saying you can't get them from a vegan diet, but maybe I'm unaware that I'm lacking in something. So I think it's best that I have some blood tests and then I can see what I'm lacking in. That's another thing with veganism. It's really important to eat a wide variety of foods like pumpkin seeds, nuts, legumes. What else? Vegetables, fruits, all that stuff, you know, you have to eat a wide selection. And I do really try that. I do that with each day of the week, different foods, whole foods, but maybe I'm still lacking in something. Everyone's different, right? So everyone has different nutrient requirements. So yeah, the point I was making there was that even after eating meat and that, it's not like I felt like a slug. I felt okay. Now, if I was to keep doing that every day, maybe I would start to feel a bit different. But what I'm saying is, just because you have one meal off or one day off doesn't mean it's all over. The health benefits were still there. Maybe you just took a little step back, or maybe it helped you in some ways. Now, in terms of animal rights and cultural benefits, yeah, like I admit, when I first did this, I wasn't doing it for that. I was doing it for health benefits. But I admit, as I've gone vegan longer over the year, I went to a thing called VegFest in London, met Simnet Nutrition. That was awesome. And that was a great experience. And there is documentaries of how animals are treated and stuff. And yeah, there is some terrible circumstances that animals are put in. And I don't agree with it whatsoever. But on the other hand, I don't have an issue with people eating meat, because this is the way humans evolved. So I can't, what do you call it? I can't feel negative towards them people. Hey, we pretty much all have eaten meat at some points in our lives. Don't see it as a bad thing. What I do see as a bad thing is the way animals are treated. And another thing in terms of nutrition, I do believe it's a long-term thing. So if you're young, like when you're young or whatever, if you're eating clean now, you're eating good, nutritious food. When you're like in your 70s, that's when the benefits will finally show up, but it will help. So later in life, you're preserving your youth. You'll still feel good. You won't come down with as many health problems as other people. So nutrition is a long-term thing. So maybe I have to be vegan longer to notice more benefits. But in my personal experience, my opinion, which could be completely wrong, you could just think, I don't care what this guy's talking about. I do believe if you're eating clean anyway, even if you're having meat, I don't really want to say dairy, because I do think that's something people maybe should cut out, but hey ho. But if you're eating mainly clean foods, maybe you have a bit of sugar here and there, you're going to be okay. In terms of strength, did my strength numbers go up or anything on weights and stuff? They're pretty much the same consistency. I suppose if you're recovering quicker, then you can get back to the gym and perform at a greater level. But if you recover fine anyway, then you're pretty much okay. So should you go vegan? Should you not go vegan? That's entirely up to you. It's what works for you. There's some people that go on a keto diet and they feel fantastic. Me personally, if I go high fat, I feel terrible. Everyone's different. Now, that being said, it's all dependent on your circumstances. Maybe it's easier for you to eat meat because of your diet or the nutrients you require. Maybe it's easier for you to eat vegan. Now, with everything being said, don't think of veganism as a cult sort of thing. Like, once you commit, that's it. You have to commit. You can never eat meat again in your life, or dairy, or don't even think of a Cadbury's Dairy Milk. No, that's not true. I believe that if people go vegan even like one day a week, in terms of animals and environment, that's still a huge difference. You've still done an amazing thing. For your body as well, you'll still receive health benefits from doing it 1 day a week. It's not like if you eat meat once, you negate all those health benefits. No, that's total rubbish. So if you want to go vegan like 1 day a week, you could try that first, see how you feel. Go from there. So am I going to stay vegan? Yeah, I probably will, because I don't mind eating like this, but I prefer to say I'm now plant-based because, look, I'm 25. At some point in my life, I'm probably going to eat meat again or eat dairy. Under whatever circumstance, it's most likely going to happen again. So I'm not going to claim that I'm this eco-warrior who will never touch meat or even look at an animal in a way of wanting to eat them. But I will continue to eat like this because I feel like it's doing good for me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe you got some information that will help you with your decision making or whatever. You just wanted informative information. I hope I came across not biased in my assessment of being vegan. And I hope you took something away from this video. If you didn't, then I'm sorry for wasting your time. Have a good one. See you later. Adios.